Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. Welcome to the end of the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge, at least this one. We have another one coming up this month. Can you believe it's March already? I can't. It feels like February was so much shorter than all the other months. Very strange. A big good morning to everyone who's joining us live on Behance, including David Perkins and May and Andy and Anne and David, another David, lots of Davids. Eric and Chris Cannon, one of our amazing mentors who's joining us in Slack every day, all day. Chris and Peter and Zach, always in Slack, giving good feedback, good time. And Lee and Adobe Live and Heather and everyone else who's joining us. If you are tuning in live on Behance, let me know who you are, where you're tuning in from. And I saw someone say, hi, Talon. Not me, is Talon in here? But I do have some news about Talon. I'll get to that in a second. So good morning, everyone who's joining us, and I hope you're all having a good Friday, interested in doing some cool things on the weekend, I hope. Maybe some designing, maybe some polishing up of your daily creative challenges. I'm not sure. Hey, Anel and Michael and Cameron and everyone else. So we're going to wrap things up today, at least for this daily creative challenge. Let me hop over to my screen, and here is the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge landing page. The last time you're going to see it for a few weeks, but it's not the end. There is another one coming, and we'll have more information on that very soon. So if you haven't joined us in Slack already, definitely hit that big blue button at the top. There's like 14,000 people in Slack, which is crazy. So just to recap what the Adobe XD Daily Challenge is, just in case you're brand new to this whole adventure. Every day you're going to receive a challenge, and as you probably noticed by now, at least I hope you've noticed by now, we've tied this whole challenge together. So we started from the very beginning of a design project. Of course, it's not the perfect flow because it's very difficult to squeeze the perfect flow into 2 weeks, and every designer and every team will have different flows. So we started with a design system. We progressed to low fidelity screens. We defined the user flow. We shared and reviewed, because it's very important that when you get to around this stage, to share your progress with clients, stakeholders, friends, family, whatever it might be, to get feedback that will help you even further define what the low fidelity screens look like, what the user flow is, and figure out if there's any pain points along the way. And then once that feedback has been gotten, you want to go to high fidelity screens. And we took 2 days to kind of polish those up. Then we went to some advanced prototyping. We took a look at user flow, auto animate and overlays and transitions. And then we shared and reviewed again, because at that point, things are looking very different than they did at the beginning. So you want to get more feedback from your stakeholders and your clients. And then we have today, the last day, we're going to prepare for a client presentation. So we're going to look at publishing this to Behance, like all of you have done. And we're going to also look at many of your projects. As you can see at the top here, I have a lot of tabs going on. So I picked a few of them, maybe a little bit more than a few, and we're going to take a look at some of those. And apologies in advance if I didn't get to yours. There were a lot of amazing submissions that came in over the last 2 weeks, and I'm sure more will come in over the next week, so we'll get to that. Now, before I go on, I do want to hop over to the live section and then schedule. So every Friday, Talon Wadsworth, I believe I'm pronouncing that last name correctly. Sorry, Talon, if you're watching. He goes live at noon Pacific time on Fridays, and that's this one right here. And this week is no different, but it is different. He's going to be joined by Andrew Shorten, I believe he's the Senior Director of Product Management at Adobe on the XD team. And I heard from a little birdie that they are going to be showing some really cool stuff. Not necessarily features that are already existing in the product, but features that are coming. And some of those features, many of you have been asking for quite a while. So they're going to be talking about the past, the present, and the future of Adobe XD. So if you are available at noon Pacific time, you're going to want to watch this, because I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and on Slack asking for very specific features. And there's a chance they might be showing some of that stuff. But what they will be showing will be a very small percentage of the things that we're going to be releasing over the next year. We got some good stuff coming out for Adobe XD. I want to say all of it, but I can't say all of it. But there's some exciting stuff. All right, so let me hop over to... Actually, let me show you Slack. I know, I'm such a tease, aren't I? So this is Slack if you haven't joined us yet. There's an announcement section, 14,150 people. You can ask questions. There's chat. design feedback. And if you are jumping in the feedback section, ask for specific feedback. If you want feedback on your colors or character styles or whatever it might be, ask for that. And when you do get feedback, turn around and give some feedback. You know, Vincent and Ashar and Miriam, they're all looking for feedback right now. Jump in there, you know, have a good time. All right. Yeah, everyone loves a good sneak peek. And I think if you've seen sneak peeks from Andrew and Talon in the past, I think that this today, from what I've kind of heard, unless I change things up on me, this might be the sneak peek of sneak peeks. It's going to be big. It's going to be fun. I hope I'm not overhyping it. Don't do this to me, Talon and Andrew, although I'm probably doing it to myself. All right, here we go. Adobe XD. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be sharing this on Behance. We're going to be putting together some presentations to make it look a little bit, you know, presentable. It's not going to be great because I only have a few minutes to do this, but hopefully some of you will kind of take some of this information and use that to, you know, do it on Behance. You know, do it live. So this is what we've been working on, and I did change this a little bit to fit an iPhone 10 screen so that, you know, I have an iPhone 10 here, so I'm able to plug it in directly to my phone, and I can see it, or I can use my Creative Cloud. If it's a cloud dock, I can just open it right there. But also, I'm going to be using the angle plugin, and that, I'll show you why that's important in a second. But there are also mock-ups and prototypes that you can get for iPhone 8s or Android or whatever it might be. So we're going to start with that. We're going to create, and let me see if one of these, so there's a few, like something like this, we're going to create something, and these are a few of the presentations I'm going to be showing off shortly, so I'm giving a little bit of a sneak peek, but there's one in particular that I really liked, and it's kind of like this one. This one's from Daniel, and it's, you know, it's embedded in these isometric or perspective iPhone mock-ups, and the angle plugin is perfect for something like that. So let's go back to XD, and over here to the right, I'm just going to grab my Artboard tool and just drag out an artboard across my document. And you know, the sweet spot is probably around 1400 to 2000 pixels wide. You don't want to go super crazy because then the file sizes get really bonkers. So I'll go around, let's say 1500 pixels wide. You can see it over here increasing. I can just enter 1500 if I want to. And we'll do 900 pixels high. Obviously you don't have to worry about scrolling because this will be a static image. Now for the actual background, there's a few ways to get backgrounds into Adobe XD or create backgrounds. You can use one that you've already created. You can create a new one. So if you go to over here to the right, click on fill, you can add a solid color, a linear gradient, or a radial gradient. And that's kind of how I created this one over here. And I actually have this one saved. So if I go over to my assets panel, which is this button right at the bottom, we have a gradient that we've saved. And with this artboard selected, I can just click on that, and it's going to use that gradient on my artboard. And if I wanted to, I can just jump in here and make some changes. Maybe I want it a little bit diagonal so it's not perfectly linear, and that looks pretty good. So that will be the header for our Behance page. And yeah, Tim posted a link to Angle, which is a great plugin I'm going to show you in a second. So there's a few ways you can use the Angle plugin. Number one, you can use it on just shapes, right? So if I grab this shape here, and maybe I just drag one out, and I might want to make sure it's the same size as my artboard. So let me select this artboard here. This is 414 by 896. So I'm going to 414, 896. And I can just hold down my shift key to constrain it and resize it just like that. Perfect. So once that's done, if I want it just straight up, then I can just leave it like this. But I can also just rotate this shape so it's on at a bit of an angle. Perfect. All right, so now that I have a shape here, I want to actually embed one of my screens into that shape. So let's say I want to embed this now playing booping, get my boop on at Adobe screen into this shape. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this shape here, head up to plugins, and then go down to my angle plugin. If you don't have angle installed, go down to Discover Plugins, and you're going to be brought to this screen here where there's a ton of different plugins, and just search Angle. And it should be the first one you see. Install that, and it's a good time. So you click on the shape, Plugins, Angle, and then Apply Mockup. And once that's done, you're going to select your screen. This is why it's so important to name your artboards. So this is going to be the now playing screen. Because it's approximately the same size, I'm not too worried about pixel density. I'll keep it at 1 times. Quality is best, and orientation is default. and I'm going to apply. And it's basically what it's doing now is taking this screen, essentially taking a screenshot and popping it into this rotated iPhone or artboard, whatever you want to call it, shape. And then from there you can apply shadows if you wanted to. Let me increase this to maybe 10 pixels. We don't want it too harsh. There we go. So now we have a shape with an image in it, one of our screens. But then you can get really fancy. So on Angle's website, they do provide with a sample file. And they also have, if you pay for it, they have like 500 different mockups you can download. But they also provide this one for free. So I'm going to jump in here, grab the iPhone that's right here. This is an iPhone 10, which is why I kind of changed my screens to fit the iPhone 10. I'm going to copy it and just paste it over here. Let me hide this one for now. Back to my layers, just hide this. All right, and it is a symbol. I probably don't need it as a symbol at this point, so I'm going to unlink it and just make it a little bit smaller so it fits on my screen. Perfect. So now that I have it in place, what I can do is I can really dig down into my layers, or I can just hold down my command key and click, and it's going to automatically select the mask. And in this case, I want to select the screen. And just like I did before, I'm going to go to Angle, Apply Mockup, and then select the now playing screen. Pixel density is 1, and apply. And it's doing the exact same thing, except this time it's within a mask, within a really cool looking 3D mockup of an iPhone. And there you go. And now it's embedded inside of the iPhone. Now I'm noticing I didn't design it very well because I didn't take into consideration that there's a notch on this thing. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm just to make my life easy, I'm going to just move some of this stuff down. So I'm going to move this. Whoops. Actually, you know what? I can just move the whole thing. Move that down and move this down. There we go. Take that notch. And let me do the same thing. So I'm going to select that screen, plugins, angle, apply mockup, now playing 1 times, and apply. Here we go. Yeah, and Chris is saying he's super excited to see Talon and Andrew today. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. There we go. So now we have our mockup inside, or our screen inside of the mockup, and it's pretty cool. And now we can do the same thing. So if I want additional one over here, maybe I want this one behind this layer, I can do that. And I could pop one over here. Maybe this one will be on top or on the side. There we go. Perfect. Now I can just, again, just like I did before, and I'll probably have to adjust some of this stuff. Let me do the home screen. I'll cancel the scrolling for now. I'll grab all this stuff, move it down because of that darn notch. So this will be the home screen, plugins, angle, apply mockup. I can use this plugin all day. I love this thing. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this one with a splash screen. Splash screen, 1, apply. Notch has been booped. You got that right. Perfect. And then one more, plugins, angle, apply mockup. Hopefully at this point you got how this works. Home, whoops, 1 times, and apply. And look how easy that is. I used to take this, like Heather was saying, I usually take this into Photoshop and do all these crazy things with smart objects, but now you can just grab a plugin and do the exact same thing. And it's free. If you just want to use these mockups, it's completely free. How cool is that? All right, so there we go. So now we have our header image. Things are looking pretty good. It's got a nice background in the background, or gradient in the background, and it's got some of our screens right here, and things are looking fancy. So now what do we do at this point? Well, I'm going to name this. This will be header image. And let's say I want to export all of these screens. So what I can do is just over here, I can start selecting all of this stuff here. Right click, export selected. And there we go. And where should I put this? I'll create a new folder. Let's call this, what do I want to call this? I have so many GIFs in this folder. Music. Sure, why not? I can't spell. Music. There we go. And I'm going to choose to export them as JPEGs. And I do want to export for design because this one will be exported onto the web. And I'm going to press export. There we go. Fancy. That's it. So all of this stuff has now been exported, and you can just grab this, put this on Behance, and let me show you how those work. So if I go over to Behance, let's go press Create a Project. It's going to open it in a new window. Let me put it all the way down here across all these tabs. And now I can start uploading some of this stuff. So I'm going to go to Files. I'm going to go to my Music section, grab my header, import that, and it's going to pop it on the top of my Behance project, just like that. It's easy, that easy. And it looks great because we designed it, about 1500 pixels wide, and it looks pretty already our presentation is looking great. And then we can start going in here, we can start adding some text. We can, let's say we want to add music play concept. And again, yours will probably look a lot better than mine, but there's a lot of things you can do, change this to header text. Arial's probably not the best choice in this case. Maybe Helvetica. Make it a little bit bigger. 42. And we'll center it. Of course, this probably doesn't look that great, but you get the idea. And then you can go back to Adobe XD and maybe hop into your design system. And maybe I want to export this entire thing. So just like I did before, File, or right-click, Export Selected. And this will be Design System, JPEG, Export, back to Behance, and then we're going to upload another file. And now we have our design system within Behance. And then like you can do, like we've seen many people do, you can import every single one of those screens if you wanted to, or you can just grab them and put them all on a background or whatever it might be. You could take screenshots. There's a lot you can do, so it's completely up to you how you structure your Behance project. But the important thing is to really make it presentable, and having a header image at the top with some previews and mock-ups of what your application looks like is so important for a client when they land on this page to be able to see what they're going to be looking at. And then showing the process, showing your design system, showing the user flow. And once I get to all these crazy tabs at the top, you're going to see all of you have put together some amazing Behance projects. But one last thing I want to show you is how to embed a project on Behance. So some people used to upload videos directly to either YouTube or just as MP4s and upload them on Behance. But what you can do is, because we are publishing for review like we did yesterday, and let me show you the mock-up. So here we have our wireframe, and of course, because I'm moving things around, things are all over the place, but that's okay. Just ignore that for now. But it works, right? For the most part. So once you're pretty happy with your prototype, back under the Share menu, if you go to Share for Review, and you're going to click on this link right here. So once it's been published, you're going to click on that link, and it's going to copy it to your keyboard. So it's going to copy the embed code directly to your clipboard, not keyboard. And then you can go back to Behance, and you'll click on the third icon. So this one right here, which is the embed icon, and you're simply going to paste. It's going to grab your prototype that you've published and paste it on Behance. And here it goes, and it's going to pop it in. Now, there might be a bug right now that there's a little bit of extra white space up here. Oh, there we go. You can just click on that and it'll shrink it down. It didn't used to do that, but now that it's done, fantastic. And what I can do, maybe let's say I want some extra text. Working prototype. Doesn't make too much sense, but we're going to run with it. Header, I'll make it consistent with the top, and this will be 42, somewhere down here, and we'll center it. Great. Now I can save it, and if I want to preview it, I just hit the preview button at the top, and all of a sudden I can see this beautiful header image. I've got some text, my design system, and a working prototype. And I can click this, or a client can click it, or whoever it might be can click on this, and it's going to load the prototype, and just in a second or two I'll be able to click through and actually see this thing working, if my Wi-Fi connection wants to deal with it. It may not, I don't know. But you get the idea. And what I've seen from all of you is you've done a much better job than I have, but with the limited time, this is what you're getting. But hopefully by now you've understood the process of creating a header image. And if I go back to XD, just in a few minutes, we've created this incredibly beautiful header image with a plugin within XD. And there really didn't have to do much for it. And we didn't have to pay anything. We just did it, which is really cool. And this still isn't working, but that's okay. You get the idea. You've all seen working prototypes on the web. I promise it works. So with that done, we're going to actually hop over to Behance and we're going to take a look at some of your amazing work. Again, if you haven't published it yet, make sure to use the keyword XD Daily Challenge so we can find this stuff and look at a lot of it. So here we go, in no particular order, and I apologize in advance if I mispronounce any of your names. This is L. Barbas. I believe he posted this in Slack and on Behance this morning. This app is called Soundwave, and throughout this process, I'm not going to be giving too much feedback, but if anything really sticks out to me, I'll give some constructive feedback. But this is really to just show all of you that we've been watching and we appreciate all of the designs that have come in. And one thing I will say, I've been following the process and progress of many of your designs from our very first XD Daily Challenge to now, and we've actually seen some incredible progress. So it's really cool to see that many of you are actually building up skills and building up really cool portfolios using these challenges. So keep that up. I love seeing that. So this is Soundwave, and he's included a little bit of a, oh, there's me. Special thanks to me. That's cool. He's included a little bit of a description, design system. What I will say is this logo in the background, it's cool, but it's slightly distracting. So maybe drop that down just a touch. Same thing for here. It's a little bit distracting, but I love the icons. I love the buttons. They look really nice. It's a great user flow. I've been really liking the user flows that have been coming in. Some of them are very in-depth and very, very detailed. Lo-fi designs. Really cool. I love that there's like one consistent color scheme throughout this whole thing. It's not very distracting, which is good because you want to focus on the user flow. And then there's an interactive prototype and hi-fi designs. All right, let's see if this one works. Oh, there. Maybe it was just mine that didn't work. Log in, and there are hotspot hints, so you can click on any of these and any blank area to see what you have to click on. It's got a drag trigger here. Love it. You can drag back, you can drag forward. Nice. Oh, look at that. It's going. Can I click on anything else? I can click back. Maybe. Nope. Okay. So I got to wait for this one to finish. All right. Well, that's cool. There we go. Library. Can scroll. Very cool stuff. Good job, L. Barbas. If I mispronounced your name, I apologize. This one is from Nadine, and here's a really nice design system at the top. I love the subtle purple in the background. It's not gray, it's not too purple. It's just very subtle, which is nice because it kind of works with some of the colors on this design system. Iconography, and I love that she included some elements around this. It's not super distracting, and it kind of adds to a little bit of the flavor of this project, which is nice. Lo-fi wireframes and workflow. Again, very simple, which is good for lo-fi. And then hi-fi. And I'm really digging this gradient in the background. I think this looks super clean, super simple, and who doesn't love a good gradient? And if you are looking for gradients, if you go actually on Behance, I think one of my favorite gradient sets, I think it's called Mesh Gradients. And you've probably seen me use this before. I think it's this one here. It's completely free, and there's a ton of there's, I don't know how many, 100 gradients. And there's some really cool gradients that you can use. Or if you're an Illustrator user, the Freeform Gradient tool is one of my favorite things in the world. So that was awesome. So good job, Nadine. Next one we've got is Christina, who created this app called Melody. And the one thing that stood out to me in this project is the mood board. I think I may have shown this off, but I love how there's like a common color, this orange that's popping through in all of these mood boards, all these images. I think this is really nice. And then there's a design system. You can kind of see that orange is the highlight color. It's called Happiness. And I love when colors are labeled. Happiness and cherry lipstick, the darkest hour. Got very dark there. Icons, bars and components, imagery, user flow. Again, super. I did not expect user flow was this detailed when we started this project, but some of these are just crazy in a good way. Low fidelity with that, nice pop of orange, hi-fi wireframes. I would say probably add a few additional wireframes or hi-fi wireframes to this section down here, but overall, I think it looks very simple, looks really nice. Good job. All right, next one we've got Maxim, who took this in a little bit of a different direction. He also created either an iPad or a web version of the mobile music app. He's got a little about this section at the top, or about this challenge section at the top, design system. I would say for this, maybe make some of these things a little bit bigger. I probably understand that you want to get things on within the viewport, but I would love to see some of these icons in more detail. So maybe make those a little bit bigger. And then the user flow, maybe it's a little bit, I gotta cock my head over to the side. It's a little bit difficult to read, but it's cool. Wireframes, sign up experience. And again, I love the fact that he kind of expanded on this. And with something like responsive resize in Adobe XD, you can probably take your mobile designs, pull it out, and then just make a few additional tweaks, and you can probably get something pretty nice. I think this looks super clean, really nice. I would probably use this mobile app. And then there's some animate action. Fancy. There we go. I just realized I don't have my music going on. Should I put some music on? Probably, right? It'll just make this experience that much better. There we go. Now we hopefully have some music. Awesome. All right, so that was Maxim. Good job, Maxim. Next, we've got Daniel, who just posted in our Behance chat. How's it going, Daniel? And I've shown Daniel's work a lot over the last, not just 2 weeks, but I think challenges before. And he does some really nice stuff. Great design system at the top, and he's been posting throughout this entire thing. Lo-fi wireframes, super simple. Love the X's within these boxes to let people know that images will exist in there. User flow, which again, super in-depth, super detailed, looks great. And then hi-fi wireframes. And again, this is probably an application I would use because it's very simple. The colors are great, and things just look fancy. And then he used the design camera application to create this really nice looking mock-up. And look, do you see that little animation in the background when the music is playing? Uh-oh. What happened? Did it die? What happened? I lost my feed. What's going on? I'm not sure. I don't know if anyone can still hear me, but I lost my feed on Behance. But I guess I'll wrap this up, and hopefully some of you are still watching on YouTube, but I think the Behance page just ended my stream. So if you are still watching, thanks so much for watching, everyone. And I'll definitely post in Slack what happened, why it just kind of disappeared. And, that's life, right? Things happen. Behance just shut me down. I don't know, but I'll be live next week on Facebook on Tuesday, so maybe I'll take a look at some more of this stuff. And thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.